Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Grand Theft Auto 5 video, we're going to be talking about a bunch of pretty cool topics, including all the details on the next Grand Theft Auto Online DLC, what we can expect for future content in online, and a whole lot more. Now, as always, if you want to get involved in future Q&A videos like this, all you got to do is go down in the description, follow me on Twitter, and just use that hashtag AskBoss whenever I'm looking for Q&A questions, and you might find yourself featured in the next one. Now, really quickly, I'm not going to be answering questions that are super open-ended, like, what do you expect the next update to be? Or a lot of people ask, how much money are you going to need? So I've done specific videos on the how much money you're going to need, and what I think is next is super open-ended. So I'm trying to answer more questions that nail down specifics. So I'm sorry if you did ask that. But anyways, let's not waste more time and let's jump straight into it. All right, so our first two questions today are in regards to two different holiday updates. So our first question comes from the number one gamer who says, will Grand Theft Auto Online ever do a Easter update? So I think Easter is a little bit tricky for two reasons. Number one, it always falls at a weird time of the year where Rockstar is either not doing an update or they're doing a pretty small update, where it wouldn't necessarily make sense for them to do like an Easter theme. And number two, I'm not sure if Rockstar wants to dive into sort of like the religious aspect of it. So I know they do like a December Christmas style update, but really they call that like a winter holiday update. They aren't really calling it like anything specific Christmas wise. It's always festive surprise. So I think that maybe they might try and stay away from that. I think that's just my personal best guess. But they have done stuff specific to countries in the past. Like the Independence Day special was pretty clearly geared towards America's 4th of July update. So again, I'm really not too sure, but that is definitely an interesting question. We also get another question from Ditto Jose Alvarez, who says, this is going to sound silly. Will there be a St. Patrick's Day update in Grand Theft Auto Online? Now, that actually sounds pretty cool. Now, I'm not sure what sort of content Rockstar could add for St. Patrick's Day. Maybe they just add a bunch of green stuff into the game. I'm really not too sure. But maybe they could come up with a cool car, maybe a cool weapon and some clothing, some like leprechaun outfit. I don't know. I feel like that could be pretty neat, especially if it was just like a tiny little part of the tunables or the drip feed as a part of a DLC. So I do think that could be pretty cool. I think that one is more probable than the Easter update. But again, that's just my personal opinion. But it would be nice to see Rockstar expand out on their holiday updates a little bit more. Roberto says, do you think they will add more ways to make money other than the ways that are already in the game? I'm assuming you're asking, is the next update going to have a way to make money other than just adding content into the game, like cars and stuff that you can buy? And I would say the answer is yes. Whether it's going to be a new type of race that allows you to make money or whether it's a new type of business that allows you to make money. I think that Rockstar will certainly add ways to add cash to your bank account in the next DLC. I don't think it's just going to be a slew of cars and guns and clothing that you can end up purchasing. Duncan says, Mr. Boss, do you think that there will be more properties or houses for online in the future? I'm not so sure about houses. I'm almost positive that there's going to be new properties added into the game, and I'm hopeful that those new properties aren't necessarily tied to a business. I hope some of them are recreational, like a mansion or a beach house or Chumash stilt homes or something like that. So I do think there is hope for something like that, but I think the more realistic choice for a property that we could see would either be something to a business or potentially something for a new garage. It's actually been a long time since we've gotten a new garage in online, so it wouldn't shock me if Rockstar did something like that going forward. And that's kind of a nice segue to another question. Ethan Cockburn says, do you think that Rockstar needs to add more garage space, e.g. an Office Garage 4? So this would actually be really cool if they decided to go back and sort of modify one of their existing updates. I think if they added another floor to the office garage, that would be pretty cool. And honestly, this might be the easiest way for Rockstar to add a new garage into the game, because with this, instead of having to add like another physical location, all they have to do is add another floor, which doesn't take up any real space in the real world. You would just see it inside your office. So that'd be cool, giving us a total of 80 car garages. It would sort of depend on the style of update. Because that would kind of be random for Rockstar to just open up another floor if the update wasn't kind of specifically geared towards something like that. Another great segue, Crispy Baconator says, do you think there could be an import-export part 2? Maybe actually getting the cars from import-export. So We'll touch on your second point a little bit later, but going back to the office garage floor number 4, that would be one way that Rockstar could do it if they did an import-export part 2. And I could totally see this happening. Number 1, that was one of the most successful updates of all time. I think it was one of the most fun DLCs of all time. But also, Rockstar, they love their Part 2 DLCs. We've seen that a ton in the past. So it would be pretty neat if they did an update to import-export. Now, as far as the second part of your question, actually getting the cars from import-export, I don't know. That seems kind of tricky. That seems like it could be a little bit buggy. I don't think Rockstar would ever change their formula of sourcing and selling cars. I still think you would deliver them to the vehicle warehouse. I still think you would upgrade them and sell them and give them to buyers. But I think a part 2 of that update, or even a updated Redux version, would be really enjoyable. Tomahawk OG says, do you think there will ever be a cop DLC? I certainly think there is hope for some sort of police expansion. It worked really well in GTA 4, whether it was the cop car missions where you could look up criminals on the computer, or whether it was in their multiplayer verse doing a game mode like Cops and Crooks. We've seen successful additions to that in previous games, and there almost is nothing of the sorts in online. The closest thing we get to becoming a cop is the heist mission where you like break into the police center and you just have to dress up as a cop. That's pretty much like the closest you can ever be. So I'm definitely hopeful. I think there's a ton of opportunities Rockstar could do to explore something like this. So I am really hopeful that they'll dive into a police or a cop-based DLC. Georgia Dude 123 says, do you think Rockstar will add the single-player vehicles like the Space Stalker or the Lost Slam Van in the next DLC? That would be really cool, and that's a great way that Rockstar could sort of add on to the list of drip feed cars, especially if this was going to be a smaller update. Rockstar could include some of the single-player locked vehicles and add them to online. The two that you mentioned are great examples, the Space Stalker and the Lost Slam Van. Maybe they could even add the blimp or the cargo plane or something like that. Of course, it would all depend on the style of DLC. But I think there's a lot of vehicles that are locked to single player that we can't have in online. They would be great additions. The Space Stalker is super unique and cool. Lost Slam Van's a nice muscle car. So yeah, George Dude, that is a great idea. And I really hope Rockstar does something like that. J-Dog says, when do you think we'll see more info on the next DLC? Do you think it will be in March? So very quickly, as I've touched on this in previous videos, yeah, I think we're going to get information this week. I think we're going to be getting a trailer, screenshots, all that good stuff. And I think the update is going to be out on March 13th, most likely. And then I'd see at the latest, like March 20th. So I think it's definitely coming soon, and it should be pretty exciting. That girl Heidi says, do you think the update will have a new, better supercar? I'd say it's very likely. The last handful of updates have had new supercars in the game, and they've all been really good. In fact, I think all the updates in 2017 had supercars. So it would be a real shock if this one didn't. And Rockstar wants to make it competitive so they can price it accordingly. So yeah, I think there's going to be a really good supercar. It might not necessarily be called the best, if you could see my air quotes, but I definitely think it will be a pretty good performing vehicle. Lennon says, will there be another treasure hunt? I hope so. Maybe not specifically like another treasure hunt, but I do hope Rockstar does something fun in regards to Red Dead Redemption 2 as far as dropping another hint or clue or something like that. I really thought that was a fun thing to do, and even though it only took 5 or 10 minutes, it was a fun experience to be able to find the treasure and unlock something that we're going to get in a future Rockstar game. So I do hope they do something like that because it was really fun and quite enjoyable. Tom says, what do you think will come with the premium edition if it does come out this month? So Tom is referring to the Amazon.com post that had Grand Theft Auto 5 Premium Edition on it. What do I think will come with it? The most likely scenario is probably just like an enhanced version of the game for PS4 Pro and Xbox One X. Best case scenarios, it has some new content, like maybe an expansion of some kind. And then worst case scenario, it's literally just the game, but with like the shark cards built in, or like some like bonus or something like that that gets you free items in game. That would by far be the worst case scenario. Hopefully that's not what Rockstar does, but I think time will tell. I mean, the listing said it was coming out on what, March 26th? So we've got about 3.5 weeks before that's supposed to happen. So it'll definitely be interesting. And last but not least, Anthony says, what do you think Rockstar will do for the 5th anniversary? The 5th anniversary of GTA 5 Probably nothing. They've done nothing in the past for all the other ones, 4, 3, 2, 1. So it really wouldn't surprise me if 5, they did absolutely nothing. And when it comes out, it's going to be really close to the release date of Red Dead Redemption 2. So I don't think they're going to really even have time to be doing something that minuscule for online. But anyways, that's all the questions that I'm going to be answering in this week's Q&A video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. Once again, if you want to find yourself featured in another video like this, or potentially be featured in next week's Q&A video, all you got to do is go down in the description, follow me on Twitter, and just use that hashtag AskBoss whenever I'm looking for questions, and you might find yourself featured in the next one. If you did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And also, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new, where you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.